So 3 weeks into Retatrutide, and your gut feels worse than before you started. You're more bloated, not less. And you've already decided that this shot isn't working for you. Now, I hear that one constantly, and I need you to hear this before you quit. That's not the drug failing, that's the drug showing you something. And if you got a leaky gut, Retatrutide doesn't work on your gut wall. It actually works on what's been stopping your gut wall from actually healing. And that's the whole reason nothing that you've tried has actually held. I'm Dr. Jones, DC, and I coach patients through this sort of thing every single week. And I work alongside Dr. Allen, our functional medicine expert, and a medical team that handles the prescribing. Now, when Dr. Allen looks at somebody with years of gut problems, she doesn't start where you'd actually think, neither do I. So let's start with what's actually leaking, because even the name people use for it is a fight. And that fight is part of the reason nobody has helped you. Type leaky gut into a search bar and half of what comes back tells you it's the root of almost every disease that you've ever heard of. The other half tells you that it's made up, that it's not even a real medical condition. So let me be straight with you, because you probably already had this argument with somebody. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking, okay, leaky gut, it's a ridiculous term. It feels like pure pseudoscience, and that's fair. And the honest answer, leaky gut is a syndrome. It's not an official diagnosis. No doctor can write that down as what you have and have it recognized by any institution. No test comes back saying leaky gut syndrome. There's no box to tick, but intestinal permeability, that's the real name for it. Now it's measurable, and it's been in the medical literature for decades. Now the term that supplement companies wore out is the fake one, but the thing underneath it, it isn't. The lining of your gut is 1 cell thick. One! That's the entire wall between what's sitting in your intestines and what's in your bloodstream. Now those cells are held together by these little tight junctions, basically the grout between the tiles. Now they're supposed to be able to open a little, let the nutrients through, and close back up. Now zonulin is the signal that tells them to open, and when zonulin runs high, they open wider and they stay open longer. And now things cross that were never supposed to cross. Pieces of bacteria, food particles that never finish breaking down. And this is why your blood work, it never caught it. There is no line on a standard panel that says gut wall. So you got told that your levels were normal. And then you spent years getting handed a new explanation every single time. Oh, it's IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Oh, it's stress. It's something you ate. It's anxiety. Yeah, you need to calm down. Every one of those is a reasonable guess, but not one of them is the actual root. It was never that nothing was wrong with you. It's that the thing that's wrong with you doesn't have a billing code. So what happens to everything that got through? Your immune system finds it, and it does exactly what it's built to do. It responds. It's an alarm system that's technically right every single time it goes off, and it never gets to stop. Over and over, every day, year after year. That constant response is an inflammatory storm, not the kind that you feel when you roll an ankle. The low, quiet kind that just runs in the background and never shuts off. Chronic inflammation does something very specific to your metabolism. It makes your cells stop listening to insulin. Now, not entirely, decreased responsiveness. Insulin is the hormone that moves the sugar out of your blood and into your cells. And when they stop listening, your body just makes more of it. Now, more insulin means more storage, and stored fat makes more inflammation. So now it feeds itself like a vicious cycle. The leak drives the inflammation, and the inflammation drives the insulin problem. And the insulin problem, and insulin resistance, drives more inflammation, which is why for a lot of you, this has never showed up as a stomach problem at all. It showed up as an exhaustion problem, as weight that just wouldn't move, as joints that ached for no reason that anybody could find. And everything that you've been offered so far has been furniture, antacid medications, fiber, another elimination diet. That's swapping out furniture while the house is still burning. The chronic inflammation is the fire, and nobody's been putting out the fire, guys. Now, what they've been doing is just redecorating. In our clinic, we look at 5 systems sitting underneath the problem. It's like this: gut, system number 1. Inflammation is number 2. And this whole video is watching those 2 feed each other. Dr. Allen has a way of putting this that I think about a lot. Gut inflammation stands in front of everything else. It blocks what you absorb, and it blunts whatever else you're taking, which is why the supplements didn't work. It wasn't the supplements. So if inflammation and insulin are the engine, then the strongest thing anybody has right now for that engine ought to matter here. And it does. It's just that people taking it keep telling me the opposite. Now, If you've been at this for years and every panel still comes back normal, that's exactly the kind of thing that Dr. Allen digs into. Now, her whole approach starts from one idea. We can't fight an enemy that we don't know. The first step on our end is a free discovery call, just a conversation with our team about what you've already been through. Guys, if you're interested in that, just text the number on your screen, or there's a link in the description if you want to find out what it's like to work with Dr. Allen and me. Now, quick one before we keep going. You're already doing the work of learning this stuff. So if you want the deep version, I break down a real patient case every couple weeks, how I read it, what we tried, and why. That's called the War Room, just for a couple bucks a month. There's also a higher tier with access to my weekly live coaching calls. If you want any of that or learn more, just head over to the YouTube membership section. So back to your gut on this shot, because the reason it feels worse is not the reason almost anybody assumes. Retatrutide slows your gut down. Now there's a word for this that you'll see all over the comment sections, motility, which just means how fast things move through you. Now Retatrutide, it slows it down. Food leaves your stomach slower. It moves through your intestines slower. That's part of how this class of medication works. It's a big piece of why your appetite drops and why you're full on half of what you used to eat. But slower has a cost. And when food sits longer, the bacteria in your gut get more time with it. And bacteria that get more time with food, they do a lot of things, but one thing they do is they ferment it. And fermenting makes gas, and gas makes pressure, and pressure is the bloating you've been feeling. You've been reading that as the drug doing something to you. It isn't. The drug slowed things down, and slowing things down turned the volume up on something that was already in there. If your gut wall was already leaky, if you've already had bacteria sitting in a part of your intestines where they don't belong, none of that was created by this medication. It was just quieter before because everything was moving through faster. So you just didn't pass that threshold where you feel the symptoms of it. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now. If it's making me feel worse, why would I stay on it? Now, that's a fair question, and I'm not going to talk you out of your own experience, but sit with what you just learned. Feeling worse isn't this going wrong. It's this pointing straight at the thing that you've been hunting for years. And if that's the first time anybody's explained why the bloating shows up to begin with, that's what I do here on this channel. The mechanisms underneath the advice, not just the advice. So hit that subscribe button and you'll get at it, and be sure to turn on that bell. Now, this brings up one of the most argued about pieces of advice in this conversation, and that's fiber. Half of the internet tells you more fiber fixes this. The other half swears fiber made everything dramatically worse. Now, here's the thing. Both groups are actually telling you the truth about themselves. What separates those two groups is what's going wrong inside of them. And on this shot, that split, it gets sharper, not blurrier. The same slowdown that backs one person up is exactly what's feeding the fermentation in somebody else. So if your problem is that things are moving too slowly and you're backed up, fiber, baby, that's going to pull in the water. That's going to help push things along. But if your problem is fermentation, bacteria feeding on food that's just sitting there, then more fermentable fiber is more food for those bugs, and more food for them is more gas. And then you just made it worse while following advice that was perfectly good for somebody else, right? Same symptom, two completely different problems underneath it. So this shot is not repairing your gut, and it's not wrecking it either. It just slows things down, and it showed you what was already sitting there, which leaves a big question that this video was built on. So what is it doing? Retatrutide, it works on 3 receptors, and a receptor is just a docking port on the surface of your cells. A drug has to fit into one to do anything at all. Now the 3 are GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon, and that combination is the reason this one is stronger than what came before it. 3 ports instead of just the 1. Now, here's the part that almost nobody in this space says out loud. There's another one in the same family. It's called the GLP-2, and GLP-2 is the one with the job you actually want. It's the receptor tied to the intestinal barrier. The lining, the wall itself, that's GLP-2's department. Now, Retatrutide was never built for GLP-2. It's not one of its 3 targets. So the assumption underneath this entire conversation, it's helping my gut, so it must be working on my gut, is backwards. It is not working on your gut wall. That was never what it was built to do. And I know how that lands this far into a video about Retatrutide and your gut. But it matters, or I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, okay? So go back to the engine. The leak feeding the inflammation feeding the insulin problem, and every turn of it adding more fat storage. That's the environment that your gut lining is trying to heal inside. Now, a wall doesn't get rebuilt in a burning house, and what this class of medication actually does, the part that gets buried under all of the weight loss talk, is it brings down inflammation. not as a bonus from losing weight, although that probably is happening too, directly. These are genuinely powerful anti-inflammatory tools. It's why our medical team will use low doses of them for people who aren't even trying to lose a single pound. So Retatrutide doesn't repair the barrier. It clears out what's been stopping the barrier from repairing itself. Now that's a smaller claim than this heals your gut. It's also the true one. And it's the reason that this works for the people it works for, which, by the way, is also why some of you feel this and some of you don't. It comes down to a race. The medication is improving the terrain and slowing your gut at the same time. Two things happening at once, pulling opposite directions. Now, if the inflammation comes down faster than the fermentation wraps up, you feel better. If it doesn't, you feel worse. And you quit at week number 3, convinced that it failed you. That's the reason that this was never meant to be the only thing that you're doing. So let me put you on the spot for a second. If somebody stopped you right now and asked why a weight loss shot would do anything at all for a leaky gut, could you actually answer them? I want you to sit with that for a beat. Now, there are 4 tools that we use, 2 that work at the gut itself and 2 that work on the inflammation driving it. Now, I want to open with the one that you probably almost certainly have never been offered. Not because it's where we start, but because this is a newer peptide to the scene, Larazotide. Now let's go back to zonulin, the signal that tells those tight junctions to open up. Larazotide works directly on that pathway. It's not patching the wall from the outside, it's turning down the signal that keeps telling the wall to stay open. That's a very different kind of tool than anything you bought off the shelf. Even the other peptides like BPC and KPV don't do that. It's the reason it's very interesting. And you're not laying new grout. You're going after what keeps prying those tiles apart. Then there's a pair that gets run together. Now we're talking BPC and KPV. BPC works on the lining itself, and it also supports your body's own antioxidant system, which is what handles the damage that inflammation leaves behind. KPV does something that I still think is the most interesting mechanism in this toolkit. It works at the level of gene signaling. It turns down the genes that drive the inflammatory response, not blocking inflammation after it shows up, quieting the instruction that starts it. And there's an order to these 2 that matters. BPC and KPV usually go first because for a lot of people, that's enough. But when somebody runs that and gets real improvement, but doesn't get all the way there, Larazotide is the next step up. Okay, so third, we got low dose naltrexone, or LDN for short. Now, naltrexone at a normal dose is used for something else entirely. At a tiny fraction of that dose, it does something different. It calms down your neural inflammation, your brain and your spinal cord. We're talking about really important areas. That's territory that no peptide reaches, and it isn't in the treatment guidelines for whatever diagnosis that you were given. So it never comes up. And then fourth is the one that we already spent time on. Now we're talking GLP-1s used at lower doses for inflammation, not the scale. And in this stack, that's the terrain layer. LDN quiets the inflammation in your nervous system, and this one works on the metabolic environment. Now the whole thing is sitting in. Now here's what all 4 of these have in common, including the GLP-1s once you're using them at low doses for inflammation instead of for weight. Not one of them is in a guideline, and your doctor can only recommend what's backed by strong clinical trials and written into a guideline. That's not a knock on your doctor. That's the job. And honestly, it protects people, but it leaves a zone. Options that are promising, options that are low risk, and options that just haven't finished the road to becoming standard yet. For millions of people, the answer inside that zone is there's nothing else we can do. That's the gray zone. It's where our team works. Now, one more thing here, and I want this from you specifically. If you're on Retatrutide and something changed with your gut, better or worse, put in the comments. Tell me what changed and how far into your Retatrutide when you actually noticed that change. Because I do my best to read the bulk of these comments, and the more common patterns that you guys share are probably going to end up being future videos. Okay, so that's the toolkit. And if you've been at this for a while, you're not sitting there excited. You're doing the math. And I've spent thousands of dollars on supplements and nothing has ever helped. Why would anything be different? And honestly, it might not be. If you run it in the wrong order, none of those 4 tools make a broken foundation work. They just don't do much sitting on top of a broken one. You put Larazotide on a gut that's still getting hit with the same triggers every single day, and you'll get a fraction of what it can do if you, at the same time, target those triggers. That's why Dr. Allen doesn't start at the gut. She starts by finding out what's driving the fire. Where's the gasoline being poured? And she takes that load off first. The gut phase is something you earn your way to. So every protocol that didn't hold for you, it may not have been the wrong tool. It may have been the right tool, but possibly too early, which means before you go buy anything, be honest with yourself about a single thing here, because it decides everything that comes after it. Do you actually know what's driving yours? Or have you been buying tools and just hoping? I get it, because your doctor's probably not helping you. So let's talk about what to do, because I know where a lot of you are at right now. Years of this, panels that keep coming back normal, a cabinet full of things that were supposed to work, and now a medication making your gut louder instead of more quiet. Here's what I'd want for you. It's not a gut test necessarily yet. I'll be straight with you. I don't think your money is well spent hunting for a leaky gut test. It's measurable, sure. Knowing the number doesn't change what you do about it. And that money does more for you going into fixing it. So what I'd want is a real look at the whole picture. Comprehensive blood work, not a basic panel that your doctor ran, and not even the more comprehensive panel that I run in my weight loss department and my peptide department, but a full comprehensive panel. Then Dr. Allen going through it with you. She doesn't just read labs as a list of numbers. She treats them like puzzle pieces. She puts them together into a picture of how your body is working right now, and then she walks you through what's flagged and why it's there. Gut, inflammation, nutrients, triggers, stress, all 5 at once instead of just one at a time for years. So here's how you can get to that. It starts with a free discovery call. That's with one of our patient educators, not with Dr. Allen herself. The patient educators will get your history, what you've already tried, what you're still dealing with, and then the two of you decide whether the blood work is the right move for you. Now, if it is, Dr. Allen is going to review that, a comprehensive history, and then get on a call with you, an entire call to do a deep dive of those blood results. And once you both know what you're actually dealing with and what she thinks the plan should be, you get to decide about the year ahead. That, my friends, is the Restore Blueprint. It is a 12-month program with her, monthly one-on-ones, a plan built for your labs, and retests along the way so it adjusts on data instead of guesses. Most programs out there give you one piece, maybe 2, but we give you all 3. Root cause functional medicine, advanced metabolic tools, and a medical team overseeing all of it. Because that's what this actually takes, in my opinion, and none of this replaces your doctor. It adds the pieces that they're not able to address. Text the number on the screen, guys, or check out the link in the description. And if you're still not sure whether this is even your problem at all, I made a video on the 10 signs that your gut barrier is the thing that's actually broken. Fair warning, some of them have nothing to do with your gut at all. That's usually the one that lands for people. And there it is right there, guys. Go check it out. We'll see you later.